To see or not to see. Join the rush line, try the lottery, or pay full prices. It's the best show you'll see. To see or not to see. Hello. We're back again with Slave Play. Emily, tell us.
At the MacGregor Plantation, nothing is as it seems, yet everything is as it seems. It's an antebellum fever dream as three interracial couples converge to rip open history at the intersection of race, love, sex, and sexuality in 21st century America. This is playing through January 19th at the Golden Theater. It's 2 hours with no intermissions, so hold your bladder. And tickets start at $39.
Digital lottery and also a rush. So you can do it online or at the theater.
PM and I both saw this Off-Broadway last year at New York Theater Workshop. You actually picked it as one of your best of 2018.
Yeah, content-wise. I mean, it tackled some serious issues.
I didn't like it. It was actually one of my worst of 2018. However, I really felt like the Broadway version was so much better than the Off-Broadway version. And I don't know if it was because I knew what was coming or I was able to make more sense of it the second time around, but I was so much more into the show this time. And even I was kind of expecting to go in jaded because I was like, I already don't like it. But I said, I'm gonna give it a try and open my mind up to what this staging of it could be. I really enjoyed Joaquina Kalukango, and she played Kanisha. And in the last version, Tiana Paris, who a lot of people may know, a popular actress, played that role. And I didn't get as much from Tiana Paris as I did from Joaquina. And I thought that she had much more depth in her portrayal of Kanisha and just overall helped me enjoy the play more.
I felt the internal rage from her more so, like before she even was speaking lines during the second act, you could just kind of feel the fire coming off of her. And so I think they played the roles a little differently.
Another standout performance for me was James Kustai Moyer, who played Dustin. Oh, and the thing is, there was a lot of carryover from the Off-Broadway to Broadway in terms of
there was
actors.
only one cast change.
He didn't stick out to me that much in the Off-Broadway version, but here he was just like fiery. He was the comedic relief.
He hammed it up like everyone was cracking
he was really great. I really enjoyed him. So yeah, what'd you think?
What did I think? Well, let me tell you this. This time I was angrier. Second time around, I was like ready to get up out of my seat and hop on that stage. I felt the fire in me. Maybe that's why I connected with Joaquina on that level. And I knew what was coming this time around. So I think the first act wasn't as much of a shock. But the second act, once I already knew kind of how that was set up, reminded me of When Art Mirrors Life. It enraged me. During this antebellum performance therapy, the therapist asked everyone to share how they are feeling. The therapy is for the Black partner, the partner of color. However, all of the white looking, so to speak, those are the people who speak first about the session. That just really, really got to me. And what stuck out was the term alexithymia. That is the inability to express your feelings. And this is an issue, I think, throughout the Black community. Is it because we don't get the chance to speak first? And even how children are raised, how white children are allowed to speak out. And when you're a child of color, usually your parents are like,
stay in a child's place.
Grown folks are talking. I mean, and if you really look back at the history, like, you definitely didn't want to say, I mean, you can still get murdered for that just for being Black. But, I mean, during slave time, like, who knows, your child could get ripped away from you from saying the wrong thing. So it has deep roots. And Jeremy tried, I think he had lofty goals. And I think there's a bit of a disconnect. There was a quote from the New York Times, and the first word in the quote was funny.
Oh, yeah, but that's interesting because on the night that I went, now there's a sprinkling of people of color, but the majority of the audience is white. A really good friend of mine who is a playwright and artist in his own right, Cyrus Aaron, we went together, and he made note of, and I did as well, like, non-people of color laughing at the most inappropriate moments. They've got something completely different out of it than,
over their heads.
People of color.
Yeah.
It's just like, well, that's, I mean, if you take that literally, maybe you laugh at it, but it's not a laughing matter. And I think for the therapy session, the first time around Off-Broadway, I was just like, this is too much. But then, like, to your point, I got the, like, all these teachable moments so much better this time around than I did the first time.
I think that's a struggle that we have throughout theater. Like, we're always happy to get these new pieces telling contemporary stories, but is the white audience ready for that? They come to these types of shows because they're woke or because people are talking about it, but are they really in a place to digest this sort of information? I think that's part of why I felt like this is not a Broadway show. I thought that the intimate setting at New York Theater Workshop worked well, and I also think that's because a show like this requires some sort of talk back to accompany it at the end of the show, or to have some sort of counselors so that people can ask questions, because it's kind of like getting at the top level. And Jeremy is raising all of these serious issues, but are other white audience patrons going to go home and dig deeper? Like, it's hitting lower maybe for some black audience members, but is everyone getting that?
I think that's so interesting that we had such a difference of opinion in terms of the first Off-Broadway version and this version. I felt like opposite of what you said. But I definitely think it's worth, I mean, just look at my experience, it's worth seeing twice for everyone. But certainly if you're not able to attend a talk back, go a second time and see what new nuggets that you can pick up and the nuances that may be lost just upon first viewing.
Jeremy raises the importance of black centering, which I think is people are becoming more aware of as a whole in this country, especially with the political climate, gentrification, and how that affects us. Racial identity, which is very interesting because they raise the issue of the white Hispanic in this, which I think is a very important topic as well. I struggled with the ending still. It's
that ending is problematic to me. It's hard to talk about it without giving it away. I didn't walk away feeling at peace. I didn't walk away feeling like, great, the black woman comes out on top, or the black woman has a resolution. So it just that is problematic.
They also covered aggression, and we see some aggression coming more so from the white characters. If you look at history and how everything, all colonization in general, I mean, I guess you could say that's true. And they talk about, the biological warfare of the colonizers.
You probably have heard Rihanna's song is a big part of this play, and she went to see the show, and she was late. They held the curtain for her. She was texting during the show. There's all these thought pieces about what that means for the theater community. I still don't understand why her song is so heavily integrated into it. That is a disconnect for me.
It might be something about just the writer himself and something about that music. Maybe while he was writing this piece, it was important to him. But they do raise the importance of music to the black figure. That was a song that he used to illustrate this. Maybe it's the work, as, when black people were slaves in this part of the world. That's what they did, work.
That would be the question that I would ask if there was a talkback. Like, help me with the song. So what did you give it?
So I'm gonna give it a 3.75. I like where he was trying to go, and again, for me, the second act was the standout act because it raises so many important issues.
I think the themes and messages were much clearer to me. In the first act, when they were doing the role play, I could tell when they were like going in and out of character, and I couldn't tell that at all the first Off-Broadway, and so that made it so much clearer to me that this is what is happening. You'll see when you see it. So 3.5 out of 5. My rating, I'm sure, went up. I liked it more. I see the value in it versus before when I was like, I don't like it. So anywho, if you're in New York City and you're around before January 19th,
who knows? Still a little angry now just talking about it.
Lord, we done brought up some things.
Thinking about the role of Alana and how she was getting up in everyone's business, kept interrupting everyone.
Well, we all know an Alana, don't we? Anywho, catch us next time. Do to see or not to see.